All right, Nikka, it's another week and another edge rushing rumor for the Bears. We're talking about it right now.
Are the rumors true?
I love rumors. Rumors, true or false, are often revealing.
Yes, indeed, this is another Bears rumor right here on the KeNikka Sports channel. But first, it's time for the final countdown.
It's the final countdown.
That's right. If you are as excited as we are for Bears OTAs starting back up this week, then click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell for our mascot, Frexy. Look at her hopping around the park. She is just the cutest little pup, and she brings a lot of joy into our lives, and we hope she brings some to yours as well.
And welcome to our new and returning viewers and continuous support. We much appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
All right, Nikka. Well, Bears edge rushing rumors will not die, and it's really just not a secret as to why. The pass rush was awful most of last season. There was no edge rusher that we drafted now this year, nor did we solve the problem with a high-priced free agent.
No, not yet.
And I do want to add that the edge rushing position has, in my opinion, become one of the most premium, expensive positions in all the NFL.
Show me the money!
So the rumors will not die, and this one, though, might be worth keeping tabs on if I'm the Bears. Josh Sweat, the headline from Mike Mariaitis on Sports Illustrated for the Bears. Bears named fit for Josh Sweat as Cardinals drama creates trade opening.
Oh.
Josh Sweat's unhappiness in Arizona could give the Bears a shot at badly needed pass rush help as Chicago searches for answers opposite Montez Sweat. Just to be clear, these two Sweats are not related.
That's a tongue twister.
It is. The Chicago Bears need an edge rusher, and the Arizona Cardinals might have one available for trade. I wouldn't say they need one, but they definitely could use some help. I don't think you'd find a lot of Bears fans disagreeing with that.
The Bears. The Bears.
That edge rusher is veteran Josh Sweat, who was recently linked to the Bears as someone they should acquire to address their need along the edge by Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox. Here is the headline from Bleacher Report: 7 NFL teams that should trade for Josh Sweat if Cardinals make him available. I didn't really want to get into this here because it's 7 teams. I just care about the Bears. And I thought Mike did a much better job actually of kind of keeping it more Bears focused and also helping us navigate why the Bears should maybe target this specific edge rusher out of maybe even Max Crosby or some of the other edge rushers that we've been linked to.
Okay.
Knox rightly points out how Chicago should be upgrading its edge rushers room and consider Sweat a, quote, budget alternative to a bigger trade like for Max Crosby, for example. Quote, the Chicago Bears won the NFC North this past season despite having a defense that produced just 35 sacks as a unit. Ouch.
Yeah, that's not a lot.
They have done little to upgrade their pass rush this offseason, though not due to a lack of effort, Knox said. Could Chicago make another run at Crosby before the regular season?
Right.
Sure, but if Josh Sweat becomes available, he might be a more enticing budget alternative, Knox added. We're not sure we'd give the Bears any credit like Knox is when it comes to their approach at edge rusher this offseason. I disagree here with Christopher Knox of Bleacher Report a little bit because I don't think the Bears have really targeted edge rusher very aggressively at all this offseason. They haven't been linked to any of the big rumored big contract guys that got free agent money.
They were rumored at the beginning of the offseason to Max Crosby.
Yeah,
but they were just rumors, unsubstantiated rumors.
I think it was more a
Thinking.
list of necessity that these writers saw the Bears needing this edge rusher, and maybe they should go out and get one.
Okay.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
I don't think, based on what they did in the draft particularly, that they really addressed this position with a lot of aggressiveness. I really don't. I think they also find a lot of fault with what they did last year as far as coaching the position. So it'll be interesting to see if this group that they do have performs better this year.
Sure.
Good, better, bad. Good, better, bad.
The team has not added anything at the position, whether that be via the draft, free agency, or trade, and we said that already. So, and then he just adds this little nugget. Yes, the Bears did check in on Max Crosby, but the Athletic's Dan Wiederer reported Chicago didn't make an aggressive push. I would agree. I don't think they did. The Bears beat writer notes the team never offered the 2 first-rounders it would have taken to acquire the star edge. They didn't even have 2 first-rounders this year like the Ravens did. So that's one thing. And then we also talked about the nefarious plot of the Ravens possibly just deciding to screw over the entire free agent market by acquiring him in a trade, signing Trey Hendrickson, and then nixing the trade.
If you ain't first, you're last. You know?
When they still had time, and it was all perfectly legal. But
here we are.
It's all spilt milk at this point. Max Crosby is a Raider. All right. Well, he wants to explain the Josh Sweat trade buzz, and I'm going to skip this part of the article, and I want to instead turn your attentions to a tweet from Kyle Odegaard, which is someone that Mike here references in the article anyway. So let's just cut to the chase. He is responding to a tweet from someone named Tyler Drake, who said Josh Sweat is not hurt despite being absent from Cardinals OTAs.
Okay.
And Kyle Odegaard here chimes in, and he is a Cardinals insider who says, don't know the exact reason for the absence, but I've been hearing for a while that Josh Sweat is not particularly happy in Arizona.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I did some more research, and I swear I saw a tweet from March that said he was unhappy. So I think there is some truth to what he's saying here. It makes me wonder why his name died out for a while and didn't create the same buzz like Kayvon Thibodeau has in New York, for example, or some of the other unhappy players around the league.
Maybe they were trying to work things out behind the scenes.
That basically gets us up to speed. We don't know the exact reason.
Okay,
So I felt like we didn't need to read like 5 paragraphs about it. No offense. Let's just skip ahead here to why the Bears should acquire Josh Sweat at the end of the article.
Okay, do tell.
I will. He says, the Bears finished tied with the 7th fewest sacks last season, and the team is way too reliant on a trio of question marks at edge with Dayo Odangbo, Shamar Turner, and Austin Booker, all of whom combined for 5.5 sacks last season. And Booker had 4.5 of those. I understand his point here, but he's leaving out a couple points. And one is that Dayo Odangbo is now motivated. And the other thing is Austin Booker appears to have maybe turned a corner in the second half of last season. So I think it's fair to say that we could possibly expect more from him.
So he's motivated as well.
Well, he's been challenged and he's risen up to the challenge so far. And I think it's possible that he could become a mainstay here on the Bears' edge.
Hell yeah!
I think he's going to be involved in the competition.
So we're gonna have tryouts.
Despite the obvious red flags, head coach Ben Johnson has said the team is betting on those 3 taking a step forward in 2026, along with better coaching. That amounts to a roll of the dice. And I agree with you in most circumstances, but Ben Johnson is not a normal coach. He is a above average head coach in this league, and he will get play out of players that other coaches will not be able to get out of those same players. Mark my words. The Bears are underestimated in this regard, especially going into the second year. We'll get into that. Putting Sweat opposite another Sweat, Montez, would give the Bears a very good 1-2 punch and a much more sure thing than Chicago has now. The Sweat brothers, anybody?
Sweaty Bears?
The Sweaty Bears.
The Bears.
It's humid in those summer times,
Yeah,
so it kind of fits. Sweat has been a consistent force in the sacks department during his career. The 29-year-old tallied a career-high 12 last season and has posted 8 or more in 3 of the last 4 years, including 11 in 2022.
That's not bad.
Sweat also brings a wealth of playoff experience with his Super Bowl ring and multiple postseason trips. That was with Philadelphia, the Eagles, in 2024. With Super Bowl aspirations, general manager Ryan Poles needs to be more aggressive at edge rusher and should not be afraid to unload what it takes to acquire Sweat, who will likely cost a day 2 pick. So that would be in next year's draft. Keep that in mind.
If you ain't first, you're last. You know?
The Bears were willing to give up their draft picks for the next year for Max Crosby. Why wouldn't they do the same thing for this guy? According to rumors.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have the all-pro pedigree 4 times that a Max Crosby has, and that demands more trade value.
That's fair, but he also hasn't been injured the way Max Crosby has been.
You bring up a good point, Nikka. I just want to touch on his points really quick.
Sure.
You know, he says betting on the existing roster is foolish. I agree with him 100%. You know, like, I'm not saying that the Bears' existing roster cannot output a higher volume of sacks than they did last year, but I think it's also a gamble, like he said, all coaching aside. Also, we don't know if everyone's going to be able to stay healthy, so depth is obviously something good. I do agree with him that having double Sweat would be much more improved on the roster than just a single Sweat. And I also agree that having a Super Bowl winner in the locker room is not a bad thing. And Josh Sweat has been really consistent. And let's just now take a look at exactly how consistent he's been, Nikka. Let's ask ourselves this question, because I think this is important going forward. Does Josh Sweat fit the Ben Johnson mold of a player, especially because he is 29, going to be 30?
He's not the youngest.
He's not the youngest, but he is a Super Bowl winner. So I think that kind of checks a box for Ben Johnson when it comes to bringing in outside veterans like a Kobe Bryant, for example.
Yes.
If you look here at his games played throughout the years since 2018, when he was a rookie, he played 9 games that year. But since then, 16, 14, 16, 16, 17, 16, 17. Not a lot of injury history here to be alarmed about, like maybe a Max Crosby, who I know it's unfair to him, but he got flagged by the Ravens
At
now
the end of the
as
day,
being damaged goods.
It is a business decision. What are you going to do for my team?
Absolutely. And
I'm not here to babysit your injury.
And Josh Sweat, for his fortunate career, has been healthy.
Right.
He's lucky in that regard, because not everyone can say that at his age. But maybe he does other things too to take care of himself and stay on the field. And I think those are the attributes that Ben Johnson likes, actually.
Well, now, is he agile and fast?
Well, that's the other thing I like about him, actually, Nikka. He's 6'5", 265.
Big.
He's listed as a linebacker, like an outside edge rushing linebacker. So, yeah, I think he does have more speed. I think he can, help you out with run defense and coverage by being able to track down some of these running backs. I like what I'm seeing here from Josh Sweat as being maybe a better fit than even a guy like Max Crosby would have been for the Bears. Trey Hendrickson would have been for the Bears. No offense, but those guys look a little, Max Crosby's not big, but I'm concerned about the knees now, obviously. Trey Hendrickson, though, is a bigger dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that fits anymore with the faster, more intense Ben Johnson approach.
Okay, what other attributes he got?
Well, he's the Super Bowl winner, like I said. So he's got
that's a
that
plus.
experience as a winner, athletic, stays on the field. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Josh Sweat would be a Ben Johnson type of player.
Okay.
So I think the Bears should possibly look into adding him. If it does cost a second rounder.
You go for the Super Bowl this year, not next year.
Now, the last thing I want to mention, though, when it comes to this is he does fit the mold, but how much is he going to cost?
That's a good issue.
Because we already have some salary cap concerns this year. We can get creative, of course. We can restructure deals to make it work. There's no team in football that would have this problem, maybe except for the Dolphins this year.
No.
And that's a whole nother story we're not going to get into, but no team in the NFL would have a problem trading for any player on a day. They would have to just get creative with restructuring. Bonus money, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Show me the money!
And I think next year, with having some potential money freed up in a big way, yes, we have to sign Caleb Williams, and we don't know what that Cadillac is going to cost or anything like that, but we know that we are going to probably have a lot more wiggle room than we have this offseason when it comes to spending.
The Bears.
And then the other thing I want to bring up is Tyson Bagent. Now, I know the Cardinals did sign Geno Smith to play quarterback, but maybe they want some more competition in their quarterback room too. I don't know if they have the long-term answer there for Mike LaFleur. It all depends on whether or not they like Tyson Bagent. I think this is a long shot because I think Tyson Bagent would have been traded during the draft to the Cardinals if they were seriously interested, because it seemed like there was some opportunity to make that happen. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think he could get moved for an edge rusher like this?
I think if the trade is, if the trade works both ways, yes, I think he's a movable piece for the Bears.
Yes and no. I think they're holding on to him just as an emergency for Caleb Williams too, because
Well, of course,
we
you
know
need to
that
have
people get
one.
hurt in this league and it's out of our control sometimes.
That's
But
true.
we don't want that to happen, obviously. And, you want to go forward thinking Caleb Williams is going to be on the field and not also holding someone back from having their own career. Tyson Bagent, if he's good enough to be one of the top 32. There's some thought that he is. Ben
Yeah.
Johnson thinks so, although he's marketing him and selling him
Of
to other
course.
teams. So we'll see. We'll see. I think
he is a piece that will potentially get moved.
I just thought it was interesting they didn't mention Tyson Bagent in the article, but we heard a lot during the offseason about Tyson Bagent going to the Cardinals because they have a vacancy there at quarterback right now.
Well, maybe he doesn't want to go to the Cardinals.
Well, it's not really up to him, is it? I mean,
true.
if I was him, I'd want to go somewhere where I could start, Nikka, not somewhere where I'm going to be playing backup for the foreseeable future,
Yeah.
especially if I think I'm good enough to be a starter.
If you ain't first, you're last.
All right. Well, let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you think the Bears should go after Josh Sweat, or do you think they should stand pat until the offseason next year when they're going to be sure to have a lot more money to spend? It's a tough choice,
It is a
honestly,
tough
right now.
choice.
So let us know what you think in the comments below.
Thank you.